After Donald Trump's attorney, Michael Cohen, had both his home and his hotel raided by authorities, there was this whole issue involving Donald Trump and attorney-client privilege. Is Donald Trump and Michael Cohen protected by the notion of attorney-client privilege, considering what the authorities had maintained or what the authorities had managed to take during this raid, the evidence that they were able to compile? Well, that question is now even more up in the air when you consider the fact that during Donald Trump's interview with Fox and Friends, he said over and over and over again that Michael Cohen isn't really his attorney. Okay, let's take a look at the first clip.
Let's talk about Michael Cohen. Yesterday, through his attorney, he's going to be taking the fifth. What's your reaction to that, being that you work with him for a couple of decades?
Let me just tell you that Michael is in business. He's really a businessman, a fairly big business as I understand it. I don't know his business, but this doesn't have to do with me. Michael is a businessman. He's got a business. He also practices law. I would say probably the big thing is his business, and they're looking at something having to do with his business. I have nothing to do with his business, I can tell you.
Then why is he pleading the fifth?
Would have been a problem. Because he's got other things. He's got businesses. And from what I understand, they're looking at his businesses. And I hope he's in great shape. Yeah. But he's got businesses, and his lawyers probably told him to do that. But I'm not involved, and I'm not involved. And I've been told I'm not involved.
Okay,
right? It came out of the newspaper.
Mr. President.
I've been told I'm not involved.
Yep. He's got businesses. Got businesses. That's what I got from that.
He's a big businessman. He's a big, beautiful businessman. He's got businesses. There's businesses there. He does a little lot, but it's businesses, businesses, businesses. What are you doing? What are you doing? Look, I'm not on your side, but still, I feel a little bad for you. I mean, attorney-client privilege has the word attorney in it. So if you're arguing that you're protected by attorney-client privilege, you shouldn't go on national television and talk about how he's not really your attorney, he's a businessman, business. This is going to come back and haunt you, and in fact, it has, and I'll tell you how in just a minute. But one more clip, take a look.
But isn't his business your attorney, Mr. President?
Well, I have many, just so you understand, I have many attorneys. I have attorneys. Sadly, I have so many attorneys you wouldn't even believe it.
How much of your, Mr. President, how much of your legal work was handled by Michael Cohen?
Well, as a percentage of my overall legal work, a tiny, tiny little fraction.
But why? What are you doing? Okay, so this has already had some ramifications. Let me tell you how. Lawyers for the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York on Thursday used President Donald Trump's early morning rant on Fox and Friends to undercut claims being made by attorneys representing his longtime attorney, Michael Cohen. So SDNY lawyers specifically cited Trump's Fox and Friends interview in a new filing to argue that most of the records seized in the FBI raid of Cohen's office are not subject to attorney-client privilege. In fact, they say that Trump's comments about Cohen being mostly a businessman who only performed a tiny fraction of the total legal work done on his behalf suggested, quote, that the seized materials are unlikely to contain voluminous privileged documents.
That's the key there. Because you could say, all right, well, but Trump's high ground here is, yeah, but he still does legal work for me, even though he's mostly a businessman, so that legal work is still covered by attorney-client privilege. It's a privileged interaction. But the minute you say it's a small percentage, then that last little memo is key, which means that then only a small percentage of what was seized is likely covered by attorney-client privilege, which means that the vast volume of stuff taken from the office is not covered. And so the problem.
What are you doing? What are you doing? And more importantly, aren't there people, there has to still be someone around him who's advising him to not do this.
Oh no, this is a classic example of him wanting to avoid those people who would say don't do it. he picked up the phone in the morning. He calls the Fox and Friends hotline. You know, they've got a special Trump line there. And he just gets through. He doesn't talk to any of his advisors. Hey, guys, just so you know, I'm going to be doing this thing. Oh, no, Mr. President, whatever you do, don't mention this, don't mention that. He wants to completely circumvent them. So he picks up that hotline. He talks to Fox and Friends. I think, Anna, he's looking for a way to kind of blow off steam. And that's what he did. That's what he was going, like one issue to the next. And let me tell you another thing about Comey. Let me tell you another thing. I mean, he was just going. And that makes him feel better. But if you talk to an advisor, of course, an advisor would have said, no, we're not calling any morning show.
So the one thing that I will say is, well, it was live, so no, I can't give them credit. I was gonna say, you know, at least they aired that segment, but it's not like it was pre-taped. That was a live interview.
They wrapped him up.
And and in fact, I feel like they kept asking him questions in order for him to redeem himself. But Mr. Trump or Mr. President, whatever they call him, you know, but how much of the legal work was done by, you know, trying to get him to say, oh, actually but he didn't realize that he was really hurting himself by minimizing the role that Michael Cohen played as his attorney.
In a way, they do him no favors by sneering at the rest of the media. If you watch the interview or caught even just highlights, you can see how they're egging him on unwittingly. They're not doing it. They're saying, Mr. President, what do you think of this James Comey book tour? And they say it just like that. They say it with like this sneer and this put down. And so that's like red meat to Trump. He goes, yeah, let me tell you something about Comey. He's a liar. And then he goes off. And then once he gets in that fever, he just goes.
Yes, he does.
I don't think in a way, they do him any favors. This one definitely did not do him any favors.
No favors.
If you want to get the whole Young Turks show every single day, become a member, tytnetwork.com/join. And once you do, you'll be saying,
you know, I'm like a smart person.
Or you might say,
I think it's weird.
Or you might say,
oops.
No, that won't be that one. It won't be that one. It'll be great, trust me. tytnetwork.com/join.